Biology students. This is for Wednesday, Thursday. I won't be there Wednesday. I might be there Thursday, and I'm fairly certain I'll be back Friday. So this is Wednesday, August 31st. I think it's the 31st. And then it'll be Thursday, September 1st. All right, so this is what we're doing. The objective for today and the last class, our objective, describe the four major organic macromolecules. Macro means just big, large molecules. Organic means like these are molecules that are found in living things. Actually, it has a different definition than that, but for us, that's all we need to know. So our four macromolecules are proteins, nucleic acids, carbohydrates, and lipids. So we have two lectures, two Edpuzzle lectures that you should watch. And then we also have these two worksheets. We had the one I gave you last week, organic molecules number 1, and today we have organic macromolecules worksheet number 2. We also have to remember the gizmos growing plants. So just keep trucking along. So we got 3 things that we need to get done by Friday. Organic polymers 1, that was posted on Monday. Gizmos growing plants, that was posted last week. Some people had trouble with it. And then today we got organic macromolecules worksheet 2. And we also have a lecture. So, whichever one of these 3, obviously you haven't done the organic molecules worksheet 2, but whichever one of these 2, if you haven't completed one of these, complete one of these first, and then go on to the organic macromolecules worksheet number 2. Now, if anybody needs help with the organic polymers 1, I'm going to go over the answers in just a second. All right, so those of you guys that need some help with the organic polymers number 1, you came to the right spot. All right, so names. Make sure you put your names. Let me make it a little bigger. 14. All right, so here's my name. That's my first name. That's my last initial. I'm going to make up some partners. I worked with Sally J. I put her last initial so I can find her easier on Aries. And I also work with John T. Boom. All right, so I got my 2 partners. So now all 3 of these people are going to get credit for this assignment. I put their last initial. Get rid of this thing. So it's easier for me to find them on Aries. Boom, I'm ready to go now. All right, how are all organic molecules related to all living things? These molecules are found within all living organisms. Name the 4 categories of organic macromolecules. All right, so we have carbohydrates. Those include things like sugars, glucose, sucrose, galactose, maltose, and also complex carbohydrates like cellulose and starch. We also have nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA, ribonucleic acid. Those are molecules that store our genetic information. They give us our traits, our brown hair, blue eyes, whatever we got. We also got proteins. Proteins play a lot of different roles in the body. They're nucleic acids and proteins are probably going to be the most important ones. And then our last one is called lipids. And lipids, mainly, you call them fats. So lipids are like fats, oils, waxes. So those are 4 main macromolecules that are found in living things. All the organic molecules are based on which element? They're all based on carbon. That's why if you watch a movie, they call us humans, everything on Earth, carbon-based life forms, because organic molecules have to have carbon. That's like basically in the definition. So if it doesn't have carbon, it's not an organic molecule. How are the building blocks of organic molecules like bricks? Well, if you read that thing, if you put a lot of what's called monomers. Monomers are small molecules. They're like little Legos. And if you put those little Legos together, you're going to make the large organic macromolecules. So if you put a lot of the monomers, the small molecules together, you get macromolecules. So you put a bunch of little Legos. So for example, like the carbohydrate starch. It's a macromolecule. It's a very large molecule, and it's made up of smaller molecules called sugars. So you put a lot of sugars together, you bond them together, chemical bond, you get carbohydrates. What is the building block of each of the four classes of amino acids? Oh man, I need a bigger line than this. I'm going to put it right here. I needed more space. All right, so the fats, or let's go lipids. Lipids, the monomers equals fatty acids and glycerol. You put three fatty acids and a glycerol molecule together, boom, you get a lipid. All right. Nucleic acids equals, they're made from nucleotides. So you bond together a bunch of nucleotides, which you don't know what they are yet, but you will. You get nucleic acids, DNA and RNA. Proteins, they're monomers. The little guys that make proteins are called amino acids. Amino acids. So you put you bonded together a bunch of amino acids together, you get a protein. And the last one is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates equals sugars. All right, so you bond together a bunch of sugars, you get the macromolecule of carbohydrates. Oh, I already did it. Ah, all right. So I was supposed to do it here. All right. So for the building blocks of carbohydrates, put sugars. The building block of lipids, put fatty acids and glycerol. The building block of proteins, put amino acids. And the building block of nucleic acids, put nucleotides. So just transfer this information, put it down there. What is a polymer? Poly means many. So a polymer is a large molecule or a macromolecule. Polymer and macromolecule, they mean the same thing. It just means it's a large molecule, large organic molecule. What determines how organic molecules will look and behave? Well, it's basically their shape. Their shape will determine their functions. Especially with proteins. Proteins is definitely their shape. Nucleic acids, it's kind of different. But basically, it's the shape, especially with proteins. All right, what are the elements contained in carbohydrates? Carbohydrates contain the elements carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. CHO, they have C for carbon, H for hydrogen, O for oxygen. So carbohydrates contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. What's the building blocks of carbohydrates? That's what are the monomers, what are the little guys that make up carbohydrates, and those are sugars. What is a monosaccharide? It's a sugar with only one sugar molecule. It was a single sugar molecule, like glucose would be an example of a monosaccharide. A disaccharide, di means two, so that would be two sugar molecules bonded together. So sucrose, the sugar that you sprinkle on your cereal, that's a disaccharide. Sucrose is fructose plus glucose. Fructose and glucose bonded together. So it's two separate sugar molecules bonded together to form a disaccharide. And a polysaccharide, poly means many, so it's many sugar molecules bonded together. All right. What are the three classes of carbohydrates? All right, so we got starch, which is how plants store their energy. They store it in the form of starch. We got glycogen, which is how animals store their energy. One way they store their energy in the form of glycogen. And then you have cellulose. Cellulose is like it's the structural component in plants, like the leaves, the bark, things that you can't digest. I mean, you could try eating it, but humans cannot digest cellulose. So it's the structural. It's what gives plants their structure. which involves food storage in plants. All right, so I already said it. Plants store their food in the form of starch. Potatoes are very high in starch. So when you eat a potato, you're eating the food storage that the plants, they're storing their food in the potato. Animals is glycogen. So us animals, we store our energy in a sugar called glycogen, and cellulose is used for the structure of plants. It's what gives them their structure, the limbs and the bark and the leaves. It's what gives the structure of the plants. So it's not for energy for the plants. It's what actually builds like the body of the plants. Lipids. Remember, that's kind of like fats. What are the building blocks of lipids? Two of them: fatty acids, and glycerol. Those are the two smaller little Legos that you put together. You put those two, you put fatty acids and glycerol together, you get lipids. Two specific examples of lipids. I don't know what it says in the thing. What does it say? It doesn't say. We can go. Well, let's go. The most important one is phospho lipids. Lipids. And that's what makes up your phospholipids. And that's what makes up the what you call your cell membrane. So the boundary around each of your billions and billions of cells in your body has a cell membrane around it, and that's made of phospholipids. Uh, and another one would be we can go oils. So like vegetable oil, that's a type of lipid. Fats, butter, those are all lipids. What are two jobs that lipids play? The most important one: make up cell membranes. It's also called plasma membranes. And we'll go energy storage. Fats, lipids also store energy. And hey, that's it. All right, so everybody should, even if you didn't understand it, everybody should have this completed and then go ahead and submit it. And I will see you guys on Friday.